This is Mark, and Mark is here with us for the first time today to go over our system with us. We've really struggled to get it online, so I've asked him here to show me why and where we're going wrong with our previous installer. Mark, you've already pointed out, I think, some issues here.
Yes, so right off the bat, when I first walked in, not nitpicking any work, just, what would we do that was a little bit different? We have PV lines that are coming in from outside, that's high voltage lines, and so you're talking about like 300 plus 400 volts DC coming in. That's all exposed, and just kind of sloppy on that part. They're not grounded coming into ground bar going to outside, and this is live power right here, and these connection ports are running the DC breakers from solar outside to the inverters. They're supposed to have one of these technically for each one of the inverters if you have a string of panels. So yeah, you're bus barring a 2-lane highway into a single-lane highway, and then basically you got Dallas traffic, and then they're trying to go back out from Dallas, pretty much, if that's an analogy. And so right here is the restriction. It's supposed to be off and on, not a combiner aspect for it.
So they basically try to use this as a combiner, it looks like.
Well, it technically can be, right? Mm-hmm. But you're running multiple loads to a single source, so you're able to isolate those multiple lines coming in and then combine them back out to a single source, not,
And I believe you mentioned, had we set this up correctly, each one of these 4 inverters would be able to be independent of its each one. And right now that is not the case. We cannot isolate if, say, this one goes down, we're all down.
Right, technically, yeah, because of the communication and the way that the wiring is as of right now. So you can run probably this inverter, no problem, this one, and this one. And then all of a sudden you start having issues when this one came online, but he ran fine if none of these were online. So there was a issue of communication. We've gone through all the wiring and stuff like that. Of course, it's just sitting here.
Got some wiring issues here.
Yeah, so technically we found the isolating spot, which is right here, this breaker that feeds in, without even realizing that line went to this inverter. These are backwards because of L1, L2 combination. So, anyways, I don't want to go into a description about this, but this is backwards, and that literally could blow up the inverter. So this was installed wrong. We're going to just leave that out right now because everything's already disabled. So, and
then we come over to
the nightmare.
This,
yeah, I don't even
which you said you didn't even want to touch. That
no,
was so
I
bad.
still don't even want to touch this thing. So if you come in here, you can see that there are no bushings, plastic pieces, and anything else.
Gosh,
and,
I didn't see that.
And you can't have multiple lines running in through the same plug unless you have conduit or some kind of PVC. That's why we have, if you look on the side here, many of these knockouts to do these applications. If you're doing like, so this was done right, from point A to point B in its own tube, not like jumping from 1 to 2 and then only using 1 tube. But this right here is like heavy duty speaker wire. Looks like it's aluminum. I don't know, maybe copper. I don't know. But the point is, this stuff here is going into this box I don't even want to touch, and it's just smashed in there, and it's got plenty of nice little sharp edges. So that's a neutral line coming off, neutral line coming off. So you got 2 neutral lines for whatever reason. It should be combined into a breaker and being done. Then you got outgoing power that's not even protected, and it's just hanging. So here we go. Hi, I can scratch against this metal sheathing, and it goes right into the wall, which is cool. But he has to have a box here, and then it's got to be out in EMT, and there is no ground line. So he's got 2 hots, L1, L2, and then he got 2 neutrals, 60 amp and a 40 amp, 30 amp. I don't know why, but he has no ground. So no ground going to the box here. Okay, if you're gonna do that, that's cool, because you got a transfer switch, but you got to bring a grounding rod outside. And recommendation on my part is probably like 25 feet away from the main power pole, which I think we are on the other side. So, or it's over here. So yeah, we'll be running a ground rod to maybe that backing corner of the house.
All right, so Nightmare, this is our before video, and we'll be making some more on his genius fix to get our system straightened out. Stay tuned.